Hey everybody, welcome to another entry in the Hyrule Compendium, and today we're talking about Nintendo's somewhat newly unveiled online service.
People have been waiting for the eShop to come to the Nintendo Switch for a while, and it was like, why was it not there at launch? And now finally they announced, oh, it's coming at the end of 2018, and it's a paid service.
So they said coming with it, there's going to be 20 or so NES games. They plan to expand the library out from there.
Yeah, they were a little vague with that. I don't know if that means, like, are they just going to keep adding to it, or are they going to cycle games in and out? Do you actually own these games, or is it just, like, is it on a rental, like, sort of thing? You know, there's a lot of vague things to it.
But the gist of it is you're going to get to play some of these games.
Yes.
With an added feature of they're going to have some sort of online connectivity for some of the games. So, like, some of them it's obvious, like golf or what sports games you can play against people.
Yes, playing NES baseball.
That'd be wild, right? Competitive online NES baseball.
We can play that right now. We would last 5 minutes.
What we're going to focus on is what that means for a game like The Legend of Zelda, which is going to be on the service.
If they were going to release The Legend of Zelda on the Switch, the original Legend of Zelda, I have like a dream way they could do it. If I was running Nintendo, I would take the original Legend of Zelda and release it as is. So if anybody just wants to play the old game,
Sure.
They can play it. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. By the way, I would not make this like a little downloadable game. I would make a whole big collection case and everything and make it a physical copy and release it for like $29.99 or something.
Okay.
Because there's so much content related to The Legend of Zelda that already exists that they can include in there. You know, later on the Super Nintendo, they made that like BS Zelda, the broadcast satellite, you know, where they had like, they call it like the third quest and the fourth quest. It was almost like DLC from the 80s, or in this case 90s. Like, I think that's something that they've never released since, and they should somehow find a way to put that in there, because I think a lot of people would really love it. In addition to that, a few years back we got the NES Remix. The NES Remix had sort of like they were like mini games within the game itself. They were like small little competitions. I think if they took all the stuff you had in NES Remix, but just expanded it tremendously just for The Legend of Zelda, though, have all sorts of these like mini trials that you had to go through, like an adventure mode.
This is actually would be really good for people who like can't really just play that game. Like we've talked about how for some people that game does not hold up at all. Those kind of things, if you just boil it down to these little mini experiences, it becomes a whole different thing. And so there are people who can get enjoyment out of the original Legend of Zelda who otherwise probably couldn't.
There's just a person who wants to play the original Legend of Zelda. Like I said, that base game is still there, but then there's all this additional content. And I think of like Hyrule Warriors, actually, because I think this game does it very well. They have the base game, where you can just run through the storyline, it's whatever, 10 hours. But then there's the adventure map mode, which goes for the next 800 hours of the game. And it has these little different trials. I can think of like an adventure map mode style for The Legend of Zelda, where you're just thrown into a dungeon. And let's say it only has like 6 rooms, but it's like a fury of like an enemy gauntlet of sorts. You know, something like that core Zelda fans who've played this game for years and years want like a little more from the game. The next idea I had would be, I have a whole treasure chest full. This is such a simplistic game in the grand scheme of things. Like, I don't think this is a 20-man development team making this game. This is like 3 guys, or you got 6 months, you're working on The Legend of Zelda. Here's all the attributes. They should just make a new quest almost. Like one person can make a more difficult quest or something of just just using The Legend of Zelda. And I think I would love that. The speedrun community is so big right now. And I wish if they had like a built-in speedrun like quest with like all sorts of little restrictions based on the different like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. Because I was sort of expecting with this one maybe they will have like a leaderboard or something.
Yeah, and it's tied into the game directly.
But I like the idea of adding, even it could tell if it's was a 3-heart run or something like that.
Yeah, and they can build it in, so it's not like doing a 3-heart run of Legend of Zelda. You have to like kill Aquamentus in the first dungeon, but stand in a specific way because you have to walk right through where the heart is to get to the next room. It's like a 3-heart run. It's like a challenge, and it's just there's just no heart containers.
Yeah,
it's not even a choice. It's just
they
just won't appear. Imagine if they had stuff like that, these built-in restrictions into the game, which I don't think would be that hard to make.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
And then if they had built-in leaderboards, if it's connected, and like it's got automatic replays, you can rewatch somebody's gameplay.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Like, I think all of this can be done. Like, in my dream world, The Legend of Zelda is not a eShop downloadable game.
Right.
It's a full packaged. Like, I don't think they can get away with all these ideas I had in charging $60. That's too much. But
yeah,
like a $30 game. I think there's a million of us out there that would buy this.
I'd buy it. Okay, so those were some of Mas's wild ideas. What would you guys like to see come to the eShop or whatever the service is called from Zelda? Or
just what they should do with some of the older games. Because I don't think this has to be on the service. I think what I suggested might be too much for the service, actually.
I think. But I can totally see how they could take a part of one of those ideas and be like, we got this on the service. We've got online. Let's put some, I could see they take the restriction, the speedrunning restriction, and just do that, because that seems not too complicated. It's still the game. Yeah. Just, move a couple things around, take the hearts out or whatever.
Yeah. They can make like a hero mode as well, where sort of like
that game.
Well, like in the first level, you're fighting orange gorillas. It's like, hero mode. You're fighting blue ones. And like there's no orange or red dark nuts anymore. They're all blue dark nuts. And then in some areas where there's blue dark nuts, there's new purple dark nuts or something. Or black dark nuts that are even more powerful.
Okay. You're just gonna
Gooey's having nightmares right now.
I hate those blue ones so much. Alright, let us know what you want to see coming to this service. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.